You are listening to the New Music Alliance Radio Hour. I'm your guest DJ, Mal Thursday. I'm here with Marquis Ramone and Mark Sherry. And that was three New England classics from the Silver 60s. That last one was Steve Walker and the Bold, Train Kept a Rollin' from 1966. And they were a big deal in the Pioneer Valley in the mid 60s. And they had a number of 45s. Gotta Get Some is another good one. Of course, Train Kept a Rollin', originally done by Tiny Bradshaw as a slow blues, and then rocked out by Johnny Burnett and the Rock and Roll Trio, and then electrified by Jeff Beck and the Yardbirds. The Bolds version clearly based on the Yardbirds.
Yeah, it was a 1951, slow blues tune that they completely, changed the whole feeling of.
When I was in college in the early 80s, I went to a music store in Hadley, and it turned out that the owner was the original drummer of the Bold. And he told me how after the band had broken up, Steve Walker had kind of fallen on hard times, and he had left all of his old tapes and posters and other memorabilia under his bed in his mom and dad's house. And one day his mom just got fed up and threw it all away. All the Bold memorabilia ended up in a landfill in the
Oh.
70s. Breaks my heart.
So before that, we heard the New Breed out of Worcester, Mass, doing Wasting My Time. That's a 1966 tune. They were just a really good 60s rock band. They were the house band apparently at this club in Worcester called the Comic Strip, which was, I guess, the hottest club in Worcester in those days. Talking about the Yardbirds, they opened for the Yardbirds, and they opened for bands like the Animals, the Young Rascals, tons of bands in those days. So yeah, they were a pretty hot band back then.
Yeah, and they got some airplay locally, and their record got played in Boston. Back then, you could have a regional hit or a local hit before the corporate rock takeover of the 1970s.
Yeah,
And we started off with North Atlantic Invasion Force, aka NAIF, and they were from New Haven. Just some great sort of pop psych sounds they had going on.
1968, 68
67,
release.
68, that's the way it
Yeah.
was, that's the way the wind was blowing.
And this song actually got played on American Bandstand. Dick Clark's American Bandstand. That's quite an honor in those days.
Yeah, it had a nice beat, but you couldn't dance to it.
Well,
Kidding.
somebody must have on American Bandstand.
Right, right. Well, you know, really top-notch songwriting. George Morgio was the leader of the band. The other song I really like is Blue and Green Gown. They had a
Well,
couple of good ones.
this song, Black on White, actually was quite controversial, and a lot of radio stations basically refused to air it because they thought it was about race. And in those days, obviously, you're in the middle of some of the hottest, race times we've had. And as it turns out, the song is not about race; it's about free speech. And so it was totally misinterpreted. And the band actually, the manager wanted them to re record it and change the lyrics so it wasn't confusing. Yeah. So when Dick Clark picked up the song, he picked the original version of it. Yeah. It's an organ driven song. And I love organ driven songs.
Well, we're big on organ in Mal Thursday Quintet, and I try to play as little as possible on stage, but it's always great to have a good keyboard player, someone who's a lot better than me. And Bob Medley, aka Robert Sherwood, plays organ with the Northeast chapter of the Mal Thursday Quintet, and we'll be appearing with Tiger Bomb, Ray Mason, and the Oranges at City Space in East Hampton on Friday, October 10th. Early show, 6:30 is the doors. Hope to see some of y'all out there in Radio Land.
Cool. So what do we have coming up for our last block now?
Well, we're going to have a cut from Mal Thursday Quintet, the greatest rock and roll band of the 21st century.
Yeah.
Uh, the great Springfield band Fat, who also broke through with a major label release in 1970.
Two of the greatest bands ever, yes.
Yes. I mean, Fat, they would periodically reunite well into the 80s. Hell, maybe into the 90s.
They're still reunited.
Fantastic, and that's a solid record. And then we have the Blue Beats from Ridgefield, Connecticut, a song called Extra Girl, another major label release, came out on Columbia Records. And it goes something like this.
And that's what we're going to start out with. The Blue Beats doing Extra Girl.